ain't very hard. Spreading that peace and love, it ain't very hard. Even without a name, we are two the same. Peace and love. I'm carrying peace and love, it ain't very hard. Spreading that peace and love, it ain't very hard. Even without a name, we are two the same. Peace and love. I'm carrying peace and love, it ain't very hard. Spreading that peace and love, it ain't very hard. Even without a name, we are two the same. Peace and love.
Welcome to the Better Man Show, where I document my journey on becoming a better person and share with you the things that I'm doing in tech, in life, and in business, so that I make the mistakes, so you do not have to. So my name is BK. Obviously, if you're friends, it shouldn't surprise you. But if we are not friends, wherever I am popping up on your radar, just add as a friend, follow. I'll be happy to get to know you as a new friend or new friend, right? I mean, these days, who doesn't need more friends, correct? Uh, I really want to apologize that if I do sound um, like I have a little bit of less energy than before, is because it has been fun. There's been 2 whole days of all night training, but it's been fun. I mean, because of time zone differences, it's going on where it's daytime for them, but it's not daytime for us. In fact, I was just telling some friends that it feels like I'm having a jet lag. So the way I overcome jet lag whenever I go for a US conference, for example, is that what I do is that on the way over there, I would literally make sure I stay awake. I don't sleep on the plane, so I stay awake. I do everything I can. I watch the in-flight movies. I read books. I do whatever. Right? I stay awake on the plane, which isn't hard for me because, to be honest, I don't sleep well on planes. I am so envious of people who are able to sleep soundly on airplanes, but I cannot. I just don't sleep well on planes. So that's what I do. So the moment I land on the US, so like go for dinner, and then by the time I'm done, maybe about 10 something, I'm back to the hotel room, hit the bed, and then I sleep through the night. And then by the next day, I'm ready so I don't feel that jet lag, right? But because now all of us are local, right? So I'm still in KL, right? And the conference is in the US, but it's like US time. So I've been staying up late, right? And I kind of feel a jet lag, right? And interestingly, I also noticed something about the body. So from midnight to 6 a.m. or 6 a.m., it's actually not difficult. It's kind of like when we were young, we go out for all-nighter, we go hang out with friends. We are at a pub or at a bar or disco or whatever. And then we go for supper and that kind of, so by daybreak, we are back home. And then we maybe shower and then we hit the sack and we are asleep, right? So I noticed that it's easy to go from 12 to maybe about 6 a.m., but the day is when the sun is up. That's when it became difficult to stay awake. So from 7 to about 10, that is because it's still going on, that's the time when it becomes a little bit harder. Really, that's my experience. What about you, right? So feel free to leave a comment and let me know. I'll be happy to. I read every comment and I try to reply every comment whenever I can, right? So if you do have, especially let me know if you're coming from another platform. You're not on Facebook, even though I'm mostly on Facebook, but I am also trying to to test out other platforms as well, right? So today is it's going to be a short one. It's the last step of how to communicate well or better communication. So day 55. Today is day 55 of a 100-day live stream challenge. So exactly 55 days ago, I started a 100-day live stream challenge. And honestly, when I started then, a lot of friends were saying, are you sure? Are you crazy? 100 days? Why don't you do like 14 days? That's what a lot of people do, right? But I did a 100-day challenge. Now, of course, it was inspired by something called 75 Hard by Andy Frisella, which is a 75-day long challenge. It's designed for personal discipline. So this is exactly what it is. But over time, it has evolved, and now it's a little bit more than just personal discipline. I have kind of learned a lot of other things along the way, and now part of the end game for myself after this challenge is hopefully I can become a better communicator, right? So I have been looking at related content, and I've also asked for some of you to send me, as I've gotten some from you as well. So if you know of any good content for to be a better speaker, communicator, let me know. So today's show, I'm going to talk about the final step towards good communication. This is content I've gotten from Jim Rohn, one of my favorite speakers and communicators, right? And he talks about the intensity of emotions as the fourth step. So step 1 was having something good to say. Step 2 was learning to say it well. Step 3 was read your audience, right? Read the audience, which we talked about yesterday, which is a bit of a challenge with a live stream like this, right? But step 4 is intensity of emotions. And this is something I would work on. I'm going to work on as well. So there is an emotional part to communication, right? And the very best of the best communicators on stage, or even on screen, they are very good at this, right? An actor is a very good communicator because he's communicating to you the exact movie script that was given to him. And then we know who are the good and the bad actors, for example, right? So there is a very high emotional part of communication. And also because communication is both words and emotion. Words and emotion, it goes hand in hand, which is kind of sad today because a lot of times we have kind of moved away from verbal and visual and face-to-face communication, and we have replaced it with text. And text kind of removes a large component of the emotions. Emojis don't quite convey the same level of emotions. They help a little bit, but they don't help 100%. So the thing is that there have been in the past very good orators, even Hitler, he was a great orator, but obviously they used it for evil. So he was able to really pump up the emotions of a whole nation, right? Or at least a large part of the nation. But obviously that ended up for evil or bad things, right? But interestingly, if it can be used for evil, it also can be used for good, right? So that is why if you have an aspiration to become a better speaker or communicator, whether it's for your work or business or just personal life, even if it's just as parents wanting to communicate well to our children, that is also a worthwhile goal. That's also a worthwhile goal, right? So think of it like this. Words are like pebbles, right? Like pebbles. Words are like pebbles. If I throw a pebble at you, I'm not saying that I will, okay? But if I do throw a pebble at you and it does land and hit you, you will feel it, right? Okay, you will feel it. You won't kill, but you will feel it, right? But imagine if I put the same pebble this time in a slingshot, right? Slingshot, right? Something that with a Y and then there's a rubber band is slingshot. And I use that same pebble directed at you. Actually, you might end up killing someone with a pebble and a slingshot. So the pebble is the word. The slingshot is the emotion behind the word. Okay. The pebble is the word. So if you just use words without emotion, or you just deliver something without emotion, then it might hit, it might land, but it doesn't have an impact. But when you deliver it with a slingshot, that means you add emotion behind it. The message will get across in a much stronger way, if it's necessary, right? If it's necessary. I mean, sometimes it's not necessary, then don't do it, right? So conversation is a craft. The communication is a craft. Conversation is to be able to have a good conversation is a craft. So I think what I've learned lately is that don't get lazy in learning this craft. Especially because I now think that since I'm doing this, I want to become a more effective and a better and a more capable live streamer or speaker or communicator, right? So that's why I'm putting in effort to learn it, right? And as mentioned in the other 3 days of the 4 steps, take every single every chance possible to practice, right? So I'm kind of glad that I have this live stream because it means that every single day I get to practice. Now, admittedly, there are some days that I find that I am better, but some days I think I'm like not great at all, in doing this. But the good thing is that every single day I have a chance to practice and a chance to reflect. Now, and the reason why you don't want to get lazy at learning this craft, because this is a skill that can serve you well in many places. It can serve you well at home, as a spouse, as a parent, as a son, right, or a daughter in the household, right? It can also serve you very well in the marketplace, right? Meaning in your business, in your workplace. The difference between someone who is, they say that, and this is my strongest disadvantage. They say that income goes up by a certain percentage point by the fact that every inch of height that you have. So a taller person earns a lot more than a shorter person. So you see, I'm disadvantaged, right? But even that difference is there is a difference, but it's not a huge difference. Maybe by like 10%, right? So a tall person versus you might have a 10% difference in pay. But the biggest differentiating factor between a lower pay and a higher pay are up to 3 times or more is your ability to be a good communicator. So if you're able to speak well, communicate well, deliver your messages well, the chances of you earning 3 times more than anyone else in your peer or in your wherever environment you're in is very high. Right? So makes sense, right? I'm not going to grow 6 inches, 10 inches taller anymore, not at my age at least, right? And I'm certainly not very tall, right? So I need every single advantage I have, right? And of course, being a better speaker is the biggest advantage I can give myself. And you can give yourself, right? So don't be lazy in picking up this craft. And hopefully for me, the next 50 days, or actually it's 45 days, it's going to be a lot of good practice. So choose your words properly with well-measured emotions can really help to put across a good point, right? It's kind of like actors, right? If actors, they are able to deliver the same lines with the right amount of emotions for the right words. And I think that makes a huge difference. I guess the simple analogy for this is kind of like fishing or flying a kite, right? So for fishing, it's kind of like you pull, then release, pull, then you release, right? Or flying a kite as well. You fly a kite, you also let go the strings a bit, you pull, let go a bit, you pull. You don't do the same all the time, right? Otherwise, the kite might break or the fish just goes away. So communication is a bit like that. Knowing to emphasize when you need to emphasize and laying it down when you don't need to lay it so heavily in terms of emotion. It's kind of like music. If you are always listening to boom, boom, boom kind of music, it's tiring for the ears as well, right? But so a bit of variety is necessary, especially as you start to, and I'm also practicing this craft, right? So that helps the listener to be able to buy into your story a little bit better, right? So thank you for joining me today. It's a short one, I know. It's the final step of step 4. There are still many, many things we can talk about for communication. And as I share, I'm also learning. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. And I think the best part about this is that it works not just for business, it works for the home, or as a person, or as a friend, right? You know, there are friends that there are people that you enjoy talking to, you enjoy being in the presence of. I mean, if you are that kind of friend, it would be great for you, right? When people enjoy being in your presence, which means that you are probably a better communicator. But more often than not, it also means you're a better listener, right? So, um, happy Sunday. Tomorrow is the start of a brand new week. I know it's kind of like heading in towards the we are all like slowing down because of the new year and Christmas and everything. And 2020 obviously has been an interesting year. But whatever you are, if you are going back to work tomorrow, have a great week of work tomorrow. If not, enjoy the rest of the December, and it's going to be fun, right? It's going to be fun. I look forward to 2021 very soon. So see you tomorrow.